Have you ever wondered how the Atlantic slave trade, a dark chapter in human history, unfolded? Let's travel back to the 15th century. It was then that the Portuguese, driven by a relentless pursuit of wealth, initiated this horrendous trade, their primary objective? To procure cheap labor for their burgeoning New World colonies. But the Portuguese were not the only culprits. Other European powers soon joined the fray, turning human lives into a commodity. The Spanish, the Dutch, the English, and the French, all were complicit in this brutal business. The Atlantic Ocean became a highway for ships laden with human cargo, each ship a testament to the inhumanity of its time. In the name of wealth, these colonial powers perpetuated an industry of suffering, ripping millions from their homes and thrusting them into a life of bondage. Thus, the Atlantic slave trade, driven by the colonial powers' insatiable thirst for wealth, set sail in the 15th century, marking the beginning of centuries of human suffering. What if I told you that the journey across the Atlantic, known as the Middle Passage, was a journey of tears? This chapter of history unfolds a tale of immense suffering and resilience, where millions of African men, women, and children endured the unthinkable. Imagine being snatched from your homeland, shackled, and crammed into a ship with barely room to breathe. The conditions aboard these vessels were beyond inhumane. They were a living nightmare. The stench of sickness, the cries of despair, the endless days and nights of fear and uncertainty. It was a journey marked by high mortality rates, with countless lives lost to disease, malnutrition, and despair. Yet, amid the horror, sparks of resistance kindled. Many captives chose to fight back, staging rebellions on board these vessels of doom. They fought with the fierce courage of those with nothing left to lose. The Middle Passage, a journey of tears, was a testament to human endurance and the survival spirit against the odds. Can you imagine the long-lasting consequences of the Atlantic slave trade? In the aftermath, the demographic and social fabric of Africa and the Americas were forever changed. The population of Africa was drastically reduced, with millions of people forcibly removed from their homelands, forever altering the continent's development. In the Americas, the enslaved people's impact on culture, music, and cuisine cannot be overstated, but their contributions are often overshadowed by the painful legacy of their bondage. As the 18th century rolled in, a wave of abolition movements began to emerge. People, both enslaved and free, fought tirelessly for the end of this brutal trade. Finally, in the 19th century, the slave trade was officially abolished, but the scars it left behind were deep and enduring. The fight for equality and recognition of the atrocities committed during this period continues to this day. To summarize, the Atlantic slave trade was a human tragedy of epic proportions, leaving a legacy of pain that continues to echo through the ages.